Hey, welcome back, everybody. Of course, you know me. My name is Dr. Keith McNally. This is Trail to Transformation. This is the podcast that focuses on veterans and helping veterans transition into the civilian world. And so today we're going to talk about money. I'm here with Jody Holeton, and he is how long were you in the Army?
More than 16 years active, and then I went Army Reserve.
Wow, and that's almost like an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
So, with that being the case, you are helping other veterans really understand how to get the most out of being a veteran. There's lots of benefits out there through the Veterans Administration, and we need to have those conversations. Today's conversation is about money. So let's dive into this conversation because I will even put myself out there. When I left the Marine Corps, that was a difficult subject to have a conversation around, especially since I was young, I was immature, and I didn't know what to do with my life. So, how do you have those conversations? How do you even start those conversations with veterans?
So I was just a regular Signal Corps officer, uh, not special forces, not a ranger, but what you get around people and like in the Army, like I was like an executive officer for the Fort Gordon Garrison, and a deputy brigade S6 for the 173rd. You have to talk to a lot of people. And part of my job was having those hard conversations, not only with senior leadership, like at Fort Gordon or in Vicenza, Italy, but with regular people. In the last week, I've talked to 4 senior officers. Okay, today I got pinged on LinkedIn, and we're having these conversations. And like, I didn't know I could get my VA card and then get VA health insurance or VA life insurance or get my glasses paid for or 1,000 other things. Um, I helped save a veteran some money by taking him out to the lemon lot, buying an old hoopty a couple months ago. I mean, nowadays in the economy, every penny, counts. And there's all these benefits that veterans don't use. I mean, you've started the process, Doc. You know, uh, it's a unique process, but once you're in the system, you can save a lot of money.
Well, let's talk about that. So let's talk insurance first, and let's go a bit broader. Let's go into the community. So, how does how can a veteran save on health, medical, life insurance if they can?
So first thing every veteran should do if they're listening to this or if they're watching your YouTube channel, pretty please go on to VA.gov, which is the main Veteran Administration website. Okay. And register in and go down to your local VA hospital, bring your DD 214 and any Army information you have, and get your VA health card. It's that easy. And they have people there, which you've experienced, whose job is help get you into the system and support you.
So those people are by initial or acronym VSO, Veteran Support Officer. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I've met with mine here locally. And so I'm in Hampton Roads, Virginia, so near the Norfolk Navy base in that area. So the process for me getting into the system, as you say, has begun. And I filed a claim for my disability because I've got a list of things that are going on with me mentally,
Mm.
physically, and whatnot. And the idea that the VA can help support my medical bills is a really good idea for me.
So once you're into the system, okay, now you're going to file a disability claim, and then that's a whole different conversation about money, whether you're 0% combat related, special compensation, 100% disabled, unemployable, and there's a whole range, not just the money, all right, is the getting the veteran ID. He's getting a veteran ID means you can show that at national parks. You can show that at the local base. Every military base has got a different set of rules.
Okay.
But you go to the in-processing center like Fort Belvoir in Virginia. Okay, I'm at Fort Meade.
Mhm.
Okay, and they love veterans. Okay, because that helps their economy, right? And they will, if you register at Fort Meade with the police, Department of Emergency Services, DES, at the greeting gate, show your card, they'll register you in the little database system. And you go on post and they'll let you use the gym. You got your commissary letter, right?
Mhm.
And that will also let you get into the PX. Cheap gas, lemon lot for a cheap car, MWR resources like canoes, renting cheap cabins, fishing derbies, events on base. The list goes on.
So I know when I was, a young Marine, so a young man going into the Marine Corps, buying a car, buying any automobile, and I was stationed Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Mhm.
It was so easy, and especially for somebody who this was their first car they ever purchased, to get ripped off. Buy a car that costs way too much money, for its worth, and then, trying to figure out car payments, auto insurance, all those things with really no idea. And then I'm talking like late 80s, early 90s. So some time ago, but really no idea of how to go about that in a very mature fashion. So you just talked about buying a cheap car, a lemon, something, what?
So every military base has a lemon lot because, as you know, from being the Marines, whether you're at basic training, you're going to go to a school, even like a regular duty station, you're only going to be there like a year, maybe to 3 years. So that means there's this constant rotation of people
Mm,
that the local community is counting on to sell brand new Marines a Mustang for 30% APR.
mm,
Okay. And I've had my own soldiers do that. Um, I bought a Fort Gordon special Jeep Renegade from the local Jeep dealership in Augusta, Georgia. 14 grand cash. Had a great deal. Still driving it. But with all these got people cycling in, spouses, teenagers, right? Dependents, and the soldiers, if they've got to go to Hawaii, they've got to go to Iraq, they've got to go to Texas, and they're leaving vehicles behind.
mm.
And when I was stationed in South Korea, Vicenza, Italy, and Hawaii, and at Fort Huachuca, guys would sometimes sell their old cars for a couple $100. Hoopties,
Okay.
you know. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace, but most places have a lemon lot and a thrift store where guys give away their old clothes, their old gear. Um, I was down at the Fort Meade thrift shop and hats, backpacks, dress uniform, medals, boots, old suits,
Mm.
Halloween costumes, and stuff they're just giving away because people just show up, and they drop stuff off and they.
So I like the outdoors and, going to the gym, going to a state park or even a national park, all of these things as a civilian cost money. There's
Mhm.
there's monthly fees or there's a drive-in fee. What is the benefit of tapping into the Veterans Administration, getting your card, proving yourself a veteran of the US military? How can we access these civilian type entities? And
So
go ahead.
you're gonna love this.
Um,
You can use you can if you retire, you show your retiree card. You can get a disability card from any if you go into the VA system. You can you're going to get your VA card, but you can also register for a disabled veteran card at any tech card facility, where there is Annapolis, New Jersey. Okay, what's a good one? Detroit, Michigan. There's a couple, right?
Okay.
You get a CAT card that says you're a disabled vet, depending on your percentage, right? You're
Mhm.
going to need that information, okay? Okay, because if you're a disabled vet, you get free national parks. State of Maryland, any state park will let veterans in for free. I just show my card, okay?
Wow.
But the big thing, MWR access. You register for your base. Morale, welfare, recreation is for the Army. I don't know what it is for the Marine or the Navy, but you can rent cabins, RV space, fishing gear, kayaks, even scuba diving equipment in Florida, Pensacola, Florida. I got super cheap scuba diving, right? It's
Now
one
you're
of
talking about
those
rentals. You're talking about like renting for the day or renting for the weekend.
free scuba diving's different, but free kayaks because
Okay.
you're a disabled vet.
Okay.
Cheap $50 a night, White Sands Beach, Hawaii cabins. Now they're okay, it's beautiful. Okay, there's a bar. You show the Navy MWR your ID.
Hmm.
And this is one of the things. A lot of veterans don't know about it. They don't use it. That's why you see a lot of retirees and veterans, they float uh because with that little ID, it enables you to get like 10 to 30% discounts through veteran friendly stores like Bass Pro Shop or Lowe's or Home Depot, right? You got to show them an ID to get those
Right. Right.
discounts.
Right.
And that's when the big money saver.
And that's really good. And so if you're
Yeah.
into any DIY stuff, do it yourself, Lowe's, Home Depot, all good. What about typically, not going to your what you call the lemon lot, but maybe a real, I'm gonna say a real dealership. Um, do you know of any like the Chevrolet or you know, Dodge or Ram? Do they offer discounts to veterans?
Oh, you'll see these specials around any military base. Toyota would do a 10% off for veterans, like it's 4th of July coming up. You're seeing everyone's super patriotic now. Are you a veteran? We'll give you $5,000 off. We'll give you 10% off. But you gotta be careful, right? So I just signed up for the Navy Credit Union for a business I'm starting. Okay.
Okay.
VA's giving me support. The the Veteran Administration is going to give me an economic advisor. The Navy's make it because I'm a veteran. I'll prove that you're a veteran. You got to show them something. So you show them a copy of that card.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll just set up my DD 214, right?
Wow.
And I'm getting free checking.
This is where?
Navy Federal.
Wow. Cool.
Okay. So USAA banking is super friendly for vets. All right.
Hmm.
But the VA will, talking about money, it's you as we can go through the VA website and they will help you with financial advisor, like for if you want to buy a house using the VA home loan, take out a loan, okay, or like for you going through the Small Business Association, which
Hmm.
is I'm going to do for the vocational um, rehabilitation education program called VRNE. Like if you've got a disability, all right, from PTSD to hard of hearing, they will help educate you, help you find a job. People use it for master's programs, skilled trades, computer certification, pilot licenses, things like that. But small businesses, all right, helping come up with business plans, okay, and helping to you set up a budget for your money, help assign you someone.
Now, one of the things that is popping into my head is sometimes things are only good based on what they cost. Meaning if you pay something, if you pay a lot of money, you're typically going to get better value. All of these things that you're mentioning are at a reduced cost or free, but what is the real Like, are these credentialed? Or are these real valuable people with real insight in financial management, but
Yes.
business plan writing? So you're not just going to get any old Joe, any private who's been off, issued to Jody, and he's going to help you, and he's got
This
no
is
real
not gonna
skills.
this is not gonna be a culinary specialist in the army opening up a can of beans for you for lunch.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
This
this is a real
V
concern. This has got to be a real concern because people don't want to get screwed over again, especially veterans.
so so every VA hospital is different. Okay. And like every veteran support officer is different. They have a standard. They're supposed to be licensed and accredited to help you and have a track record because you're working for the American federal government.
Mhm.
I've had great experiences working like the Ann Arbor VA, getting glasses at the Ann Arbor VA. I save thousands of dollars for glasses. I get 2 pairs a year.
But what
Eye
about for the
care.
financial planning, the business planning, those things that typically civilians have to go out and pay lots of money for?
Yes. And you can also get legal support too.
Okay.
Okay.
And maybe even accounting for
But
your
all those people,
taxes.
all those people, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and go through there's the VA will help you with their tax program, but they're certified. Okay. One, the important thing is getting your VA card and getting into the system because there can be a backlog depending where you're at.
Okay.
How big is your VA hospital? How big is your VA support? Like Ann Arbor, Michigan is great. I hear great things about Tampa, Florida. Okay, about their VA hospital. Right. Some places are not. All right. But you have to, that's why you reach out. You go to your local VFW hall. You go down to your local VA hospital. You get into the system. And that's the great thing about it. You know, there are plenty of veterans who want to support you.
So going back to, so my first, other than you, my real contact with this whole process has been my veteran support officer, my
Mhm.
VSO. You just said they have to be credentialed because they're working in collaboration with the federal government.
Mhm.
Would do they train these VSOs to provide this type of information, or is it really those people who are more invested in helping veterans that they kind of build this community around themselves and in their area, saying, we could offer this, or if you ever need, because my VSO is great, and he knows, I've had 5 suicide attempts since, early 90s, mid 90s. So he's saying, we got to get you in. We got to make sure that, you get the services you need. He gave me the 800 number in case there's a crisis. And so I know he's got my back.
But these people are certified. There are certified social workers. The financial advisors are trained. There's a whole process because they have to be vetted before they're allowed to work with at-risk veterans.
Okay. And that's
Because
what we
as you
needed to
know,
hear. That's what we need. They have to be vetted. So that's what we needed to hear.
with background checks, it's a real federal job. And working in the federal system right now, I'm a contractor, right? They do background checks and they check references, and it's a real job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know because you really so frequently, especially when you're in the service, and like I said, young, Marine, Army, sailor, doesn't really matter. The community, the general community at large, and again, I'm speaking from experience, again, late 80s, early 90s, and I'm hoping things have changed across the decades. You know, it's young young Marines are an easy target for taking money and just
Yeah,
kind of generally getting screwed over. But
young soldiers, yeah.
yeah, but there needs to be this community of people, including like yourself, who are really looking out for those people and helping them along the path. Because without them, we really are lost.
There are federal laws, like there are veteran support agencies, private lawyer companies that help disabled veterans get their disability claim. By federal law, and we can go into that at a different podcast, there's a maximum amount of money that they can take from a veteran. Okay.
Are you talking about
Because
attorneys?
yes,
Okay.
attorneys, veteran officers, people who would do your paperwork for you. And they go, yeah, we'll take 30% off your, your lump sum, your back payment, right?
Mm.
From like 2019. That's a lot of money if you're 80%, but
30% is a
but
lot of
that
money.
well, this is one of those things that military people get preyed upon. As you saw, like 30% APR for new Marines. Hey, we'll get you in that new Dodge Charger, 30% APR. Oh, it's only gonna be $500 a month, but that's gonna take you, 20 years to pay off, right?
Right.
For $15,000 Dodge Charger.
Right.
Um, and I've seen that. Because we're dumb, right? Of I
We're
would
not
say more
educated. I wouldn't say we're
not
dumb.
educated. There's process with money and from soldiers doing their Roth IRA to filling out their paperwork when they leave. I can't tell you, you know, um, proving your time, getting your cards of we like the Army has soldier for life, but every base is different,
Mm.
and what happens, like with you, you're supposed to have been an out processing for you. But if your command or your unit doesn't really care about you, they're like, yeah, we'll have you do fire guard your last 2 months, fire watch, right? And hey, goodbye, there's a gate, here's a form, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're on your own. My father did that,
Mm-hmm.
you
No, I'm
know.
very familiar with that. Yeah.
Yes. And you're not alone. But talking about money, uh, veterans going out into the real world, nobody cares that you're a veteran. Okay. There are support groups, but civilians, especially nowadays, you gotta look at your bottom line. Okay. And use your benefits. Medical insurance is great through the VA. Eyeglasses, dental,
Mm.
life insurance. I had a big life insurance conversation with my best friend. He didn't think the VA provided life insurance and goes, hey, that's like $300 a month. I'm like, if you're a disabled veteran, the VA has a special program for that, which is really good.
Mm.
You know, um, let's see, what's another good one? Your plates, and it's state dependent, but going back to your VA card or getting your disabled veteran CAT card,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Each state is different um, on the benefits they give for veterans. Michigan is great for veterans, not if you're disabled, like higher than 50%, you don't pay any property taxes. But Maryland, you're cut off after like 150,000. Okay, you got to start paying a percentage on that.
Okay.
That's one of those great conversations that most veterans don't Google, they don't think about it.
I know I haven't thought about it, but now that you're putting all these ideas in my head, I need to start thinking about it. And especially here that I live in Virginia, I need to make a real conscious effort to find out more about what's available to me as a veteran.
Car loans, small business loans, okay, legal support, money, dollars and cents. And the big thing is people don't like my parents, they'll go down to Selfridge Air Force Base in Michigan. They've got a good sized little PX, right?
Mhm.
But guess what? Cheap TVs. Me being older, right? You go down there and you can 4th of July sale, 20% off. Yes, this is like a $10 shirt. Looks nice, gets me what I want, right? Jeans. And don't get me going about saving money on ammo and meat through the army commissaries. It's much cheaper than going to Walmart, or the local food line
Well,
and gas.
now that we're getting becoming a part of this system, I now need to have open disclosure as to how I'm navigating this space, this new space for me. So on a week-to-week basis, we really need to you need to check in on me, and we need to have a
We should we
report.
should we should do a live podcast with my Meta glasses, right?
Yeah.
My AI glasses, and like really compare the prices from meat, like at Fort Belvoir or Fort Meade, and like Walmart, and gas. It was like 3.50 a gallon
Mm,
at Fort Meade. How much is it regular? I know it's like $4 downtown DC,
wow.
if not higher. I mean, I think we're really being nickel and dime nowadays. We are, yes, I'm deeply worried about money.
Well, let's have these continued conversations and as we can, do some live streams, but more importantly, on a weekly basis, you need to check in on me and say how's it going? What's going on with you and your VSO? And then how am I accessing my
Yeah.
benefits, which have been
We,
long
we,
overdue?
we should do a video diary of you doing that, looking at prices.
Let's do it.
You
Okay.
want to do that? That'd
Yeah,
be
I
fun.
do. All right.
Yeah.
But for now, let's go ahead and end this conversation. Jody, it's always good to jump on a Zoom call with you. And for those of you who've been watching and listening, again, this is Veterans Helping Veterans and giving help, helping, healing where it's needed. We'll see you next time. Take care.
I know.